Undefeated USC travels to Corvallis with a potential trap game ahead against Oregon State. Hi there, I'm James of Faithful Angelino Sports with a Week 4 USC football preview. If you like the content that we provide, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We do talk USC football here. We talk all LA sports here. Now, the 7th-ranked Trojans, they've got off to such a remarkable, jaw-dropping start, particularly on offense, that we're now looking ahead to the schedule and asking ourselves, certainly I'm asking myself, what could trip them up on their way to the college football playoffs? It's certainly not a fait accompli. I mean, we're looking at this offense as invincible. I know I am, and I'm sure if you're a Trojans fan, maybe you are too, because it is. How many times have the Trojans punted? Maybe 5 out of 3 games? So we also recognize that there's a little bit to worry about on the defense, but we're thinking that this offense is so incredible that it could mask any flaws that the rest of the roster has. So then you look at the head of the schedule and you circle the tough games. Utah, you're sitting there thinking about the rivalries with UCLA and Notre Dame, but do you really see the Irish now as a legitimate threat, as 1-3? Would you? Because I don't. I don't even see the Bruins as much of a threat, and they're 3-0. You look at the schedule, they sure as hell didn't look impressive last weekend at all against South Alabama, and you're saying to yourself, fine, that leaves Utah. But does it? That is the message of this upcoming game, because in my opinion, Oregon State is most definitely a threat. I would say they're more of a threat than Notre Dame or the Bruins for the following reasons. 1, Oregon State is 3-0, but they played a tougher schedule than UCLA. The Beavers also have a common opponent with USC in Fresno State. They beat Fresno State as well, and granted, the score was close, but that game was in Fresno, whereas USC played them in the Coliseum. And finally, most importantly perhaps, Oregon State has an 8-game home winning streak. Now, thus far, the best way to describe the Trojans' offense has just been ruthlessly efficient. They are favored in this game because of that, and they should be favored. But this is their first legit test because it is a tough road game. So if they come in with just a slight lack of focus, it could be devastating. When USC has the ball, the game is going to be all about Caleb Williams. Now, you might be sitting there going, no duh. But it's a little bit more profound than just on the surface. First of all, the Beavers return all 4 defensive backs from last year. That means maybe they can cover. But Oregon State only has 3 sacks, so they have trouble getting to the quarterback. So the point is, if Caleb Williams is patient while he's back there, maybe that coverage breaks down, and that's what allows him to take the shots downfield. Also, even more important, we have yet to find out how Williams performs in a hostile environment. We haven't, not with USC. And when he was at Oklahoma, he honestly didn't perform that well in hostile environments. He was benched against Baylor in Waco. He also lost a rivalry game at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma should have been favored and should have won that game going away, but they lost because it was in Oklahoma State. So again, he's going to get time. But the question is, from his freshman year to this year, has he started to gain the patience, not just the knowledge of the playbook, but the patience to perform in a hostile environment? Now, when the Beavers have the ball, I have a guess as to what they're going to do. It's an informed guess, but it's still just a guess. I say they run. I think that they run because in last year's game, OSU rushed for 322 yards when they beat USC in the Coliseum last year. And the current defense is suspect against the run. If they are able to move the chains by running the football, it also keeps the ball out of Williams' hands, obviously. Now, I will grant you that Beavers quarterback Chase Nolan passed for 276 yards last week, passed for 746 yards in the year with 7 touchdowns. But the difference between USC's defense and Oregon State's defense is USC gets to the quarterback, 14 sacks. And by the way, if you're looking for the game inside the game, look at the Oregon State offensive line versus the USC defensive front, because the OSU line has only allowed 2 sacks. 2 sacks versus 14. What gives in this particular game? If it were me, I think you line up running back Deshaun Fenwick behind those linemen, Jake Levengood, Joshua Gray, Brandon Kipper, and you try to balance it out as much as you can. Keep USC guessing. Besides, defensive coordinator Alex Grinch says he's never been able to stop OSU's Jonathan Smith's offense. And this isn't the first time that they've coached against each other either. They were both up in Washington and Washington State, so there's experience there. The thing I'm learning about USC is that it's a team, they look on paper like they're a finesse team, but then they line up and they punch you in the face, which I'm all in favor of. The air raid offense, but with power running. A 3-3-5 defensive alignment with 14 sacks. I think the Trojans are the more physical team, which is the primary reason I think you should take them, aside from that offense. I think if they go into Corvallis, Oregon, focused on a fight with focus, they win. But they come out there thinking, hey, we're 3-0. We've just got this glide path all the way to Utah and then to the title picture. Trouble ahead. Now, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. Again, we talk USC football here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. Faithful Angelinos is a Quian Corte El Queso production. Take care.